year. They were pumping in noise in the bubble for their practice ahead of that Detroit roar. The Commanders are hoping to continue their surprising run, while the Lions are trying to make it back to the NFC Championship game for the second year in a row. All right, gentlemen, let's lock in on the quarterbacks here. RC, I want to start with you. Do you have more faith in Goff or in Daniels in this divisional round matchup?
Hey, this is such a loaded question, right? Because I have faith in both of these quarterbacks. Individually, if you ask me which one I want on my team, I say Jayden Daniels. But when it goes to who I have more faith in to produce and get a win in this game, it's Jared Goff. And that's because of the pieces around him. That's because of the offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. Understand that you're going to face a heavy man-based team on the back end in the Washington Commanders. The creativity they have in that offense, being able to take the top off the defense with J-Mo Williams, but Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta working in between the numbers. On top of that, having a Jahmyr Gibbs that if you decide that you're going to play two high safeties or go-to man, have a guy that could run the football and exploit the defense. Jayden Daniels, to me, is the more talented player. Jayden Daniels has done more with less than Jared Goff. But when you talk about the team that Dan Campbell has assembled around Jared Goff and the way that he's executed within that offense, I have more faith in him and that team going into this game than I do the Washington Commanders and their young quarterback.
Well, definitely, I feel where you're coming from. I'm going to go with Daniels on this one, but not just because of his talent, not just because he's had about 4 fourth-quarter comebacks this season, second only to Patrick Mahomes' 5, but also because of the fact I'm looking at what they had, 13 dudes on the injured list for the Detroit Lions in the season finale against the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold couldn't take advantage of it. I think Jayden Daniels is the kind of cat who will. What's going to be interesting is that I've got Detroit winning this game, fellas. I will say this to you, though. If it's close, it'll be everything we wanted in this game from the standpoint that you put Jayden, if it's close, let's say, for example, Detroit is winning, but it's a one-score game, and it's coming down to the wire, and Jayden Daniels has the ball in his hands. That's going to be something to behold. With Detroit, you can look at Goff, you can look at Ben Johnson's play calling, you can look at Jameson Williams or Laporta, somebody that's going to get the ball, or you can look at Gibbs and see if he's going to do what he's capable of doing and running the football. In the case of Washington, even though McLaurin is there, what have you, it's really about Jayden Daniels at this point. What is he going to do to make something happen? Because that's what he does, makes things happen. Yeah. And against Detroit in the Motor City, as hyped as they're going to be, it's going to be real interesting to see how he's going to respond. I have faith in him more so than Goff, but that's no shade on Goff whatsoever. I just think Goff has more people to rely upon. Daniels, not necessarily the case. But in the end, we're going to find out about this kid because I think he's going to show up, and I think he's going to be in a position to make things happen.
I think it's evident that on paper, the Detroit Lions are favored because of the personnel that's around Jared Goff. I think skillfully, the two, it's not even really a comparison. Jayden Daniels has more upside. Now, if we want to label a title for the playoffs as a whole, it's Carpe Diem. You have to seize the moment. You have to seize the opportunity. You have to seize the day. Because it's no tomorrow. It's no next play. It's no next time. It's no my bads. It's we'll get him next. No, you do not have no guarantees in playoff football. So, Jayden Daniels, this message is for you. Do not chase ghosts. Do not worry about the intangibles. Do not worry about that you're playing one of the top teams in the NFL, in the Detroit Lions. Do not get so caught up into the crowd. Do not get so caught up into, the things that they're trying to make it out to be. It's an away game. You have the Lions' success, and they have a tendency to bully teams. You cannot allow yourself to worry about things that you can't control. If you do that, then you put yourself in the best situation to seize the moment. You have the skill. It was also loud in Tampa Bay last week. Yeah. But did that alter your gameplay? Absolutely not. Is it going to be loud in Detroit? Absolutely. Is it going to be loud everywhere this weekend? Absolutely. But do not worry about the intangibles. Just play your game. Now, understanding that those amenities, as I call, on your side, you have to get them going. Yeah. And nobody really cares about the excuses. We just want to see the production.
Yeah, but I think the thing that's beautiful about what you said to Jayden Daniels, or the message you send him, Cam, is that's exactly who he is. I watched this kid at 18 when the Oregon Ducks were a top 10 football team and they came into Arizona State with Justin Herbert. I watched him play Justin Herbert. I'll play Justin Herbert that night. I watched him make a throw down the sideline to win a football game in the last minute that was 80 yards with his back to the goal line. And so he's always been this player. Think about after Zane Gonzalez makes that field goal and it doinks off of the upright. There was no smile. There was no jubilation. There was no celebration because he understood the same way we talked about earlier, Stephen A., that the job's not finished. This kid has been poised since he started playing this season. And even though against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week 1, it wasn't exactly what we watched it become, you could see that it was building. Everything around this young man has been, he's the one. Whether it was Austin Eckler in the offseason, whether it was Zach Ertz in the offseason, general manager Adam Peters, they all knew what they had from the moment that he stepped into the building. But Jayden Daniels has far exceeded expectations because of everything you said. He doesn't look at the rosters and say that we have no chance. He doesn't look at the clock or look at the scoreboard and think that this game is over as long as he has an opportunity to have it in his hands. And I believe Stephen A. laid it out perfectly. If we get a one-score game with the Washington Commanders down and the football in Jayden Daniels' hands, we have everything that we want from that game because I believe the young man can elevate his team and walk into the NFC Championship.
I would like to say this too, guys. He's played more football than this season he's played in his life. Yeah. I mean, we got to remember that. And he's been hit too. He had blood trickling down his face the other day. He had a rib injury that caused him to miss some action earlier this season. You know, we know that he was injured in college and stuff like that. And I'm just bringing that up only from the standpoint, you going into Detroit. Listen, have y'all seen that environment? This is a team that hasn't done anything. I mean, last year they got to the NFC Championship game. Please don't get me wrong. But prior to that, they hadn't done anything basically since 1957. All they had to rely upon was Barry Sanders. Footages of Barry Sanders. You understand what I'm saying? Having him walk around as a virtual ambassador for the team or whatever, because we know he's one of the greatest running backs we've ever seen in our lives. He's absolutely spectacular. So much so that when we see Saquon Barkley, that's what we think about. You don't think about anybody else. You think about running backs in history. You don't think about anybody else but Barry Sanders when you think about what you see from Saquon Barkley. That's how spectacular Barry Sanders is. But these cats, this organization hasn't won anything since 1957. And so when you think about going into that environment, that's another thing that excites me about Jayden Daniels, because he seems to thrive under the most adverse of circumstances. Yeah. And in Detroit, the way Dan Campbell got them boys looking, as hyped as that city is going to be, that stadium is going to be, that environment is going to be, you got to be ready. You know this better than me, Cam, RC. You got to be ready before the game, before you show up. You got to be, you got to wear it in your head. It's like, yo, this is not normal circumstances right here. This brother is built for it, but we're about to find out how built for it is he.
He's got 6 comeback wins this season when trailing in the 4th, most by a quarterback. We'll leave it there, guys. It'll be a lot of fun when we come back here on First Take. Some more to dive into. How much pressure's on Jalen Hurts to put up numbers this weekend? We're eyeing in on his arm and diving into whether the Eagles quarterback needs a big game to silence the critics. This is interesting, too. Plans for a league to rival the NBA are in the works. What do we think of the idea? How does it relate to LeBron James? Brian Windhorst here for all that.
You're watching First Take, presented by ESPN Bet Sportsbook.
So pleased to have you along. This should be a good one. We're set, and off we go here on EA Sports. On the return, here comes Cordero Patterson. And they'll bring him down just shy of the 30-yard line. So they come to the line for first down and 10. Now a first carry for the Alabama product, Najee Harris. And he's going to be brought down up past the 45. On first down, right back to Harris. And he'll get forward for a couple. It's second down. They'll give it to Harris again. And they're going to work this down inside the 45. Another run here with Harris. And he'll work forward for about 3. It's second down. They're going to run out of the gun, and here's Harris. He'll pop this ahead for about 4, but it will set up third down. Out of the gun, here's Russ. That is hot! And he will get into the end zone. Calvin Austin. Touchdown, Steelers. Chris Boswell on for the point after. It's up and good. And the Steelers will take a 7-0 lead. Boswell now following the touchdown. Back out to kick this one off. This kick is fielded in the end zone, but no move to bring it out. It's touchback, and that ball will come out to the 30-yard line. Right to the air goes Daniels. They try to set up the screen, but this one doomed from the start. It's incomplete. They'll try again here, 2nd and 10. Operating from the gun, it's Daniels. And that's going to be incomplete. Coverage was good that time. The contact jarring the ball loose and forcing third down. Luke McCaffrey, the intended receiver. Now it's going to be third down. From the shotgun on third down, Daniels. 15-yard pickup there. First down, Washington.
And this is what you can do when you have one of the best receivers in the game. You understand that even if the coverage is not perfect for the play call, sometimes it's just as simple as my guy is better than your guy, and we're going to just keep giving him a chance.
Off he goes.
Now on 3rd and forever, he'll look to throw. Slings this deep from McLaurin. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete.
Trying to get something positive to happen here before the break, and they sure need it. They went for the big one, but it winds up incomplete.
And likely time for one final play here in the half, so they will go for it on 4th down. A final shot before break. Daniels slings this deep from McLaurin. And got his man complete. He's to the 15. And he's in for the touchdown.
Because it is so simple. It's something that these two have done and thrown together for years and years. Maybe not to each other, but since Pop Warner. They've been running the go route. Just run right by him, and if you're even, you're leaving, and I'm going to drop it right over the top.
Now to throw. And the conversion is no good as that pass falls incomplete.
Couldn't be a little armchair quarterback after that call. Looked like the defense knew exactly what was coming.
Well, time making this all but impossible, but they're going to try for the onside kick here anyway. And this is going to be covered up by the Commanders. That should just about lock up the win. Washington finishes the return to the end zone. Touchdown! The Commanders picked up the fumble and ran it home.
He gets it to go, and the Commanders will move out to a 14-7 lead. Seibert now following the touchdown. He's out to kick it away. And we'll see a return here from his own end zone. Not much on the return. They'll stop him at the 17. Boy, some bulk in the formation on that right side here for 1st and 10. A play fake. Now it's he fumbled the football. And the defense has it. And there it is. The defense comes up with the big...
Robinson will score. Touchdown, Commanders. So how about that for an answer? They get the touchdown there, and it's back to a one-score game here in the 4th.
And that's what these guys have done all game long, because they've scratched and slashed their way to stay in this game. And by now, we should all realize they're not going away. Now the pressure again swings to their defense, because they're going to need to find some way to get the ball back.
All right, now a big two-point conversion attempt still to come. Daniels going to try and throw for it. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Oh, no, he lost the football. And he will get into the end zone, and a two-point conversion will cut this down to a 6-point game.
Here's Eckler. And he's brought down for a loss. The Commanders in the hurry up. They're hustling for the line. To throw. That's complete. Here's Brown. And they bring him down. Looks like he got it to the 27. Here he is to throw. Someone got a piece of that downfield throw, but it is caught anyway. And that's a Washington touchdown. So there's part one, Brock. They get the touchdown that they desperately needed. Now, you'd imagine, comes a try for 2.
Yeah, and this might be just as tough as to go get that touchdown they just did, because, well, they work on two-point conversions, but they're difficult.